Hello everybody and welcome back to Dad Vibes Gaming. This is the continuation of the unarmed playthrough of Skyrim. This is the one that I was working on where I accidentally deleted every video clip that I had because I'm a fool. And I just really wanted to continue it. I mean, I was having a blast. I love Skyrim. But fuck Bethesda and fuck Todd Howard. Because they ruined one of the greatest mods to this entire game, which was multiplayer, and I finally got a PC to finally be able to play it with one of my homies. But anyway, let's get into it. Firstly, I had to fast travel to Riften. Then I had to dodge all of the homeless people in Riften trying to reach their hands into my pocket for some of my great change. Got into a fight in the sewer with some crackhead because she thought I had enough meth to supply her for a whole year. I slammed her into the pavement, stole all her belongings, and read a piece of paper that she had crammed into her pants pocket. Taught a barman that he really shouldn't have messed with me when his friends watched him get his teeth kicked in. Then they all just kind of looked at me in horror, but I didn't really care, because I had to go to the rat way. In the rat way, I tried to give some elves the old schizophrenia as they tried to run around and find a man that was hiding in the sewers screaming about cheese and raving about meth. Tried to sneak by them, but that really wasn't working out, and they kinda seen me, so then I had to beat their brains in with just my little kitty hands, and they couldn't stop it. Tried to be nice to one of the other elves by giving him a free dentist exam. He didn't really seem to be all that willing to participate though. Tried to fight a man who thought he was God and that the rules of physics didn't apply. So I said fuck you and started fighting back with his own rules because I'm the motherfucking bug man. Asked Esbern why he was sitting in the sewers. Then Lydia got in the way outside as I was trying to leave, and that bitch wouldn't move, so I got fed up with her, kinda caved her skull in with my little hands. She got kinda irritated at it, but not too bad. Decided to wanted to go visit the orphans at the nice orphanage. Taught the old bitch Grillog the Kind, or whatever the fuck her name is, not to fuck with me, or the kids anymore, so I fucking broke her back over my head. Looted her pockets, and ran away like a fat person in Walmart that's riding a rascal, just before anybody would notice that there was an old lady missing. No one really seemed to give a shit that the old lady died or that I killed her, so I ran away, like all great men should. Went back to Riverwood. Lydia decided that she wanted to be the special kid in the Kmart and wanted to be in front of Esbern. Well, meanwhile, I stole all of Delphine's cheese and robbed her husband. Rode a carriage over into Markarth. Stopped a murder with my patented overhead slammer technique. Nobody can stop it. It is the best. It's the best. Meanwhile, after that, tried to buy a horse, but remembered I was broke, so I just had to walk like the poor peasants do. On the road, I fought another oversized lizard, but he ran, but just not far enough to stop me, cause I really wanted him, so I tracked that pussy down. Meanwhile, two other guys tried to help, so I decided that I was gonna feed them their teeth for breakfast, because they seemed hungry, and they really seemed very annoying people. On the road, I tried to pet a mud crab, but he scared me, so I petted him too hard. And finally arrived at Karspire with the boys, the group, the squad. They told me to slit my wrist because I would be cooler if I did it and that the popular kids would love me, so I listened and did it. Looked at the special ed kids' finger paintings on the wall while Esbern told me a story about this kid who almost killed himself because of it. Went back to Hrothgar to learn how to say rain, rain, go away so I could reach the top of the mountain. Spit in the air because my breath is hot and I spit that fire. They can't handle me. Discussed the lizard man conspiracy with the Greybeard's pet. He didn't really seem very interested in my analytics on it and that I think Joe Biden might be a lizard man in disguise, or all politicians for that matter. interrupted Angnir's goon sesh at the top of a tower to ask him about the blades and where I needed to go, but he seemed very unimpressed that I asked him about either of those. Fast traveled to the dwarven ruins that would take me into Blackreach, but almost killed myself because I wanted to be a cool kid, but no one seemed to care. In the dwarven ruins, did not have a fun time at all, because some giant metal man kept trying to steam my entire asshole while I was running away. Stuck my magical ball into a magical hole to find some magical stairs leading me to a magical fucking hell called Blackreach. Played Grandpa's puzzle game by flipping switches and pushing buttons like I always could. Stole his prescription because he didn't need them anymore. He's always gonna die eventually. In Whiterun, I thought about killing a courier because he interrupted my shopping trip like a son of a bitch, and only if he knew what was holding me back. Went on a shopping trip because I'm a bad bitch and fuck you. I needed some health potions, and I bought as many as I could shove into my pants pocket because dear God I'm gonna need them with my hands. Got sucked into the past by the Elder Scroll and watched the pretty lights of Christmas time play around me. Got to watch his high school bullies spit on him and laugh at him to poke fun at him, 'cause fuck you, dragon man. Then it was my turn to bully and spit on the dragon, but he seemed upset that mine was thick and slimy and kinda stuck to him and gave him radiation 'cause he started glowing for some fucking reason and I don't know why. Beat Alduin like his drunk dad should've, but never could. Then he just kinda sat there like a wet blanket and a frog on a log because he got his ass whooped. Boo-hoo. Got into a heated debate with Jarl Balgriff the Greater because I wanted to use his place for my barbecue, which I wanted to invite a dragon to, but he seemed upset at the idea, pussy boy. Asked old man Jenkins who I should invite to the barbecue. He told me that the two fools fighting a war during a world-ending crisis were going to be a problem and that I should instead invite them to his birthday party on top of the mountain in High Hrothgar. So I asked him where that should go and who I should start with. He said Tullius. Told General Tullius that his mom wanted him to go to my birthday party because I want the presents, and fuck that old man Jenkins. It is my party. I get the presents. I then fast traveled to Windhelm and stopped the racism because I wanted to beat the shit out of this old stone fist fella, cause I really don't like homeless people. Fuck them. Told Ulfric Stormcloak that it was my birthday and that he didn't really have a choice in whether he wanted to go or not, cause I already made that choice for him. And that bitch boy listened because, you know, I'm just that cool and that he better bring presents. Argnir still thought it was his birthday party, so I talked to him about it and he seemed very upset. But it was a smashing success. I was the eager beaver at the table because nobody else could really care that it was my birthday until there was cake, and then everybody decided that they wanted to sit down and enjoy my birthday party then. Odoving came to the barbecue uninvited, so I trapped him like a dog, but he only wanted to come in on his own accord. Then he kinda wanted to get back at me, so he blasted my ass with his fire breath, and then I made sure that he was nice and locked up in the cage. Then I mounted Odoving like the horse I never had, and we made our way to Skuldolphin, as two friends do, one's on top of the other and using him. Nothing important here. I really just ran like hell so I wouldn't have to waste my time in trying to fight all the undead that wanted to eat my ass. Almost tripped walking up the stairs because I was walking like a cripple trying to run away from the dragons and the undead, and then I had to race this ghost feller to the portal before he touched the staff. But eventually, after hours and hours and hours of trying, I had finally made it to the holy ground named Sovngarde. Told soon his fit was cheap and that he really couldn't afford no bitches or hoes. Then I made him stroke out because, you know, my moves are just that good, and then I smacked his ass, told him a good game. He seemed really happy that I beat his ass. Everything was great, worked out in the end. In the Hall of Heroes, I let my inner child run loose as I ran around like a kid with glue stuck on his hands and a Kmart, so I stuck everything into my pocket as I ran along. Stole their entire buffet. They had no choice. They couldn't stop me. I'm a hero. I deserve it. And they don't deserve anything, 'cause all that food was just for me. fuck them. And then I talked to the three stooges that would aid me in battle. Gandalf the Senile, off-brand Gwyneth Paltrow, and a random mall cop. Together we were gonna save the world from the World Eater. They also had the power to spit on people a lot and to yell at people, so that was pretty good. But we came up with a battle plan and we headed outside. Outside, we yelled at the sky because why the hell not? We've all had a drunken moment that we regret and that we're not really proud of, and so it was very suitable for my person at the time. I can yell pretty good and they can't stop me. Alduin got mad that we were yelling and screaming into the top of our lungs, so then we got into a full-scale brawl with a dragon who thought he owned the cardboard box outside the Walmart. But I wanted that bitch for myself because I love cardboard and fuck him. I kept swinging with all my might to slay Alduin, but it was kinda really fucking hard when it seemed like I was slapping him with a couple of pasta noodles and he was the fat Italian man himself, so he just kept eating them. But finally, Alduin fell before my hands, and his body couldn't seem to handle it. He also seemed in quite disbelief that a homeless man with hands that could barely afford pasta noodles to eat at home was able to kill him. But eventually, he died, exploded into some spaghetti. I watched his body dissipate, and then his soul get sucked back into the ether by his own dad because he was such a disappointment. And then I just kind of stood there as the shockwave took over and watched as the Dragonborn, was victorious, and no one could beat me at the throat of the world again. I had finally beaten the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, with only my hands, my bare fists. And as the dragons looked on and screamed in my good name, I couldn't help but just be so proud. Because, I mean, it's my hands. Fuck them. They can't stop me. I got hands of a god. So, I wanted to join in the fun. I got out my scream, prepped my lungs, smoked a cigarette, looked in a good direction that I thought was safe, screamed as loud as I could, and let time fly by. And with that, I had finished Skyrim with just my hands. I mean, of course, there was the times where I screamed or had to scream or hurt people otherwise, but other than that, that was it. And here you can see I dropped some buckets because I wanted to dedicate this run to Mitten Squad, a very, very fun YouTuber, and I wanted to edit something like he would. But with that, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching and subscribe.